Do you want to get better at backgammon? One of the best ways to do it is by playing against a software like XG or Extreme Gammon because it offers a lot of useful tools that help you learn. And some of those I'll show you in this video as my good friend Bob Ourian joins me to play backgammon versus the bot. Thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoy this video. Please like and subscribe, and you'll be notified every time I upload a new video. Let me know what you think in the comments below, what you'd like to see in future videos, and I'll work on it. If you love backgammon, you can become a member of this channel, giving you exclusive access to the most popular videos. My book, Backgammon Backgame Strategies, is available. There's a link in the description to where you can get it. And if you're interested in lessons, please contact me via email. My email address is also in the description. Again, in this video, my good friend Bob Orion joins me to play backgammon versus the bot. Welcome.
Hello. Good to be here.
Thank you. Thank you for joining me. How are you doing tonight?
Good, good. We're
Good.
not playing backgammon this evening like we usually do on Sundays. So as a tournament, so it's good to be here and playing against the bot.
Yeah, we play locally at the local group usually on Sundays and Wednesday evenings, and today's a Sunday evening. But the venue was not available for this week and next week because they're occupied with some other events. So we're playing, and then last weekend we were also off because we were playing at the big tournament, the California State Backgammon Championships, and I know you were there too. How did you enjoy that?
It wasn't a good weekend for me in terms of like games. I pretty much lost everything that I entered in, but it was a fun weekend.
Yeah, it's a fun experience. A lot of people there, right?
Yeah, I think we had like what about 150 people total,
A lot
maybe
of
more.
people total. What events did you play in?
I played in the juniors tournament. I played in Blitz. I played in DMP, and my favorite is actually Speed Gammon.
Yeah, because you just play fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. Someone was asking, like this like juniors is under 60 or 65, and someone was asking why isn't it like under 30 or something like that. I told them in backgammon under 65 is juniors.
Yeah.
Because the average age is usually more than that. Okay, so
More younger players. I mean, we're getting some every year, but we want more.
I know. What's a good way to get more younger people playing?
I mean, I see, they play very casually, which is fun and it's great. Um, just have to figure out how we can attract them to play more frequently and maybe at a higher level.
Yeah, we've been working on that. You've been helping with the meetup and the Facebook and the Instagram. That's all been good. So hopefully we can get some more.
Yeah, for sure.
Right, here we go. Are you able to see the screen now, Bob?
Yeah.
Great. We're going to be playing a 5-point match. We're playing on a beautiful Backgammon Galaxy Earth board, which is similar to the small version that you have. That's why I selected this for you. The XG board is made by Rain. He makes beautiful XG boards. There's a link in the description to where you can get it. It'll be a 5-point match. You'll be playing the green checkers at the bottom, XG the white checkers at the top. You're welcome to consult with me as the guest. The final decision is up to you. The most important thing is to have fun, and number two, to learn. So here we go. All right, so 3-2 will split, and then 5-1,
So we're gonna play 13-8
13-8.
and 24-23 back split.
Very good. Okay, now 4-1. So how do you play the 4-1 here? Could have made the bar point too, but selected that one. Okay, now 6.
Roll. Okay, 6-2.
What are the options?
Well, for our sixes, we have 24-18 and we have 13-7 and there is 8-2. So those are the three options for playing six. Of course, if we play 23-21, there's one more six there as well. So those are the four options to play the six. Um, and that's maybe the best one, 23-15.
So you teach the novice students. So what would you tell them is the reason for this?
Well, whatever we do, we're going to be leaving some shots. This probably leaves the fewest shots. Now playing 13-7 does leave a shot, and what happens is that if white tries to hit, basically white has to break up its 20 point, which is quite valuable to me. It's early in the game. If white hits, it's not such a big deal. We can still recover from that. So that would be one reason to play 13-7. It doesn't have a whole lot of value in trying to keep white back. He's already, holding our golden point, so he's already anchored there. Um, so that may not be the best option. Uh, and then 24-18, again, it leaves a whole lot of shots, and 1, 4, and 6 will hit. So I don't see a whole lot of advantage in doing that either.
Yeah.
So that's why I would play 23-15. 23-15 is kind of like, when you sometimes roll a 6-3 and you just come out,
Right.
kind of like the same position
Yeah.
without
Okay.
losing too much equity.
Very good. Okay, so 5-2 doesn't hit. Okay, and now 5-2.
5-2. All right. So this one, again, we can't do a whole lot with it. Probably 15-10. Uh, Playing it too safe is wrong. So I will advance 24-22.
So what is the advantage of this?
So right now we are duplicating on fives, which means that white can hit the loose checkers with a roll of a 5. The one that is in white's home can also be hit with a 3, but basically, fives are duplicates. So the only way it can hit both of them is to roll a double 5, which would be kind of devastating. Um, the other thing is like the checker in opponent's home is not a big deal. Loose checker, even if it hits, it's early in the game. It's right now just a 1 point board. Maybe it will become a 2 point board. So I'm not too worried about that. And bringing in that checker from 15 to 8 is just stacking too many checkers in one place, and that is not good either.
Right.
So diversify a little bit. 15-10, 24-22.
Okay, so once you play this 5, now if you were to leave this here, is this an asset or is this a liability? Probably a little bit of both.
A little bit of both, yeah.
Yeah. So you want to play up.
Right. The
This also
alternative would be to keep, with the checker on 24 is our goalkeeper. We sometimes, or a lot of times, we like to keep it back. We can also play 6-4 instead of 24-22. And by doing that, we have a chance to build on that if white fails to hit. And again, fives are duplicated this way. Of course, we don't have a pip count here, and I don't think white is that much ahead.
it's at the
Um,
right at the top and bottom, so you can see
oh, I
four
got it.
pips.
Actually, this may be a little bit better by keeping the checker back on 24 and doing 6-4. Yeah,
Okay,
I'll keep
so
this one.
okay, so we'll see in the analysis. All right, 5-3. Okay, so just like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so now 4-2.
4-2, we gotta play it safe. So we're gonna go to 10-4.
Okay, 4-2 for white makes the 4 point. Now 3-2.
Well, the back checker is stuck. We can't do much about it. So we are gonna play 8-3.
3. Okay, 6-5. All right, hits. And now 4-2. So there's the 2.
And we don't want to give more shots. So we're gonna play 8-4.
8-4. Would you consider playing 6-2 and keeping the spare checker here?
Well, that can become a liability later. Um, if somehow, you know, white hits us and we end up hitting back, then, we got to make sure that those two are somehow covered. So,
Not like this.
yeah.
Okay, if you were white, would you double here?
Would I double? Oh, if I were white? Is that what you asked? If I were
Yeah,
white?
yeah, yes.
Well, yes. Right now, basically, white has a whole lot of ammunition, and a roll of a six or a four will give white a broken six prime, and there is a good chance for maybe even gammoning if somehow we end up giving up another shot. So it's a definite double.
Okay, and white doubles, would you take this?
Um, well, white still has some liability. I mean, white needs to get those checkers from my home to its home. Uh, and it's a 5 point match, which is a consideration. So it's, the first game, it's probably not a take. I don't think it's I always take, like, especially playing against XG. I don't think I would take this. Maybe against another player I would, not against XG.
Okay, so let's see. Double. Okay. I
Yeah,
predict the future. Okay, so now you don't want to take, you want to pass?
pass.
Okay, pass. All right, we'll continue. Now 4-3 plays two down, 3-1
Make the 5 point.
forward. Okay, 6-5 makes the 4 point. 3-1 again.
So we're gonna play 13, 10, 6, 5.
My friend Patrick Gibson says when you roll the same number twice, he says you must not have played it right last time. You've heard him say that, right?
Or no, I haven't yet, but
Oh,
it was just such a good play. We get to do it again.
yeah. All right, 6-2 comes out. 5-1.
Okay, so we're gonna hit 10, 9, and we have two options for five, either 13, 8, or we can hit loose with 6, 1. And they usually say, two on the bar is better by far. Not a whole lot of value on, hitting on the ace point, but in this case, it may not be such a bad idea. So yes, let's go ahead and keep that.
So one of the things I like to teach people about using XG is when you roll a number, if you click on a checker, it'll play the higher number first. So like here, if I click it, it'll play the five. Or if I click here, it'll play the five. If you want it to play the lower number, you right click and then you play the lower number.
Right.
And then you can hit. So are you concerned by the fact that you're stripping the 6 point here, so you don't have a builder and you only have 9 checkers in the zone, and these checkers don't directly bear on this one.
Right. And we can only cover that with a 4, 7, or 9.
Right. So this was the other option you were looking at.
Well, by bringing that one down, now we have four spare checkers.
Yeah.
And that means that we will have a 50% chance, roughly 50% chance of building either on the 4 point or the 3 point, which would be pretty strong too. Okay, I
And this
changed my mind. Like this one.
so this leaves how many shots does this leave to hit back?
So basically a 3, 6 and a 4, 5. So there are basically four shots.
And then how about here?
That one is gonna have 11 ones
So
plus.
11 versus 4. Yeah. 11 versus 4. Okay, so you want to do this one?
Yeah,
I convinced you?
yep, you did.
Okay. 4-2. Okay, brings one down. And now 2-1. Okay,
So we're gonna make the 4 point.
4 points.
4 point before the
What
7 points.
what would be the second option to make the 7 point like this?
Now the advantage of the 7 point is that you get a nice 4 prime. There are no gaps, so there's continuity between the checkers. But the 4 point is more important than the 7 point
Because of what?
because now we have a 3 point board. which is valuable, and we can bring other checkers on top of these three. Um,
So if you make this point, like how does a roll like a 6-5 play or a 5-4 play
well, 6-5 is good for white.
for
Can make
white?
like the 3 point. 4-5, would have to bring the two checkers down from the midpoint.
But if you play this, how does the 6-5 play? It makes a better point. Yeah,
Comes out easily.
yeah, that's the other thing. Or like 5-2 and things like that. Okay, so you like this one.
I like that one for now. Yeah.
Okay, so we'll see. 5-3 makes the 3 point. 5-1.
So we are gonna do 9-4, 24, 23.
Yeah, double five. Okay, now 6-5. So there's the five.
And we're gonna come out
Now,
20.
okay. Now, if you were white, would you double here?
No, because there's that one back checker which um needs to come out, and hitting my checker on its 2 point, it needs a double three or a double six to hit and cover it. It has a strong board. It's a 4 point board versus my 3 point board, but I think it may be a little too early.
So if white hits with like a 2 and you dance, you think white is going to win a lot of gammons?
Definitely has a much better chance.
Yeah,
And I don't know if
especially
it's too good. Uh, I mean, it's definitely a double and a drop
after that. Yeah.
for
So
that.
that's the thing. It's like at the score, 4 points would be very valuable. Okay, so let's see what he does. Double. Okay. I predicted
Uh,
the future twice.
So I have to take this. Just I know XG is gonna roll it too for sure,
All right, so we'll take
but I will still take. Okay, I
double
got a
four.
double
Look
four.
how it played it.
Yeah, yeah.
6-4. Okay, so six is in.
And well, I am gonna play 14-10.
14-10. What was the other option to come out like this?
Come on, 19-15. Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is an interesting one. Okay, 4-3 hits loose. 3-2 cannot come in. Now looking for twos and threes. Doesn't get it. Double four cannot come in. 4-2 and now 5-3. So there's the five.
Well, I'm gonna play 10-7.
10-7. Slotting that point. Double two. Okay. Trying to save the gammon now. Not looking so good.
Nope.
Need a quick six. There we go. So six and then out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Just bring two down.
Well,
13-7, 14.
yeah, you
9.
want to spread them out. Okay. Two down again.
And yeah, trying to play as efficiently as possible to bring as many checkers in to save the gammon.
That's right. So 6-5. This way double twos and threes works. And double one works.
Yeah.
That didn't do it.
Yep. Not the first time XG has one against me.
All right, now we'll analyze it. So we'll take a look at all the plays, and this is what I like to do and helps people like uh, to see the arrow. So I like to teach people a few tips about XG when they're doing it. So when you're analyzing it, you can put this panel on the left or the right. So what you would do is you go to layout panel, and then you could do it on the right, and then you could do layout panel on the left. So that's how people can do it. And then here, when you have the moves, you can select this radio button initial, and that shows you the initial position before the roll was played. The second radio button is arrow, so it shows you where the checkers would be placed. And the third radio button is final, and it shows you the final position after that move has been played and the dice become light. So if you select a different one, now this shows it this way. People like it with the arrow. Okay, so anyway, the first play was a 5-1, which was right. And then this was an interesting one. Look at this. What is it like? It likes this play.
Yeah.
Looks like this. So the 13-7-6-4 was close. So this is interesting. I see that what do you make of this?
So as I said before, it's basically uh giving a shot to white, and if white tries to hit, it's gonna have to leave the 5 point, my 5 point. So that's one thing. And then if it misses, we can build on that. Um, Now the one on 21 can be hit with 2, 4, 7, and 9. But hitting in its home is a little bit riskier than hitting outside.
Yeah,
And
and
the difference was only 0.02, right? So barely
uh well, this one that you selected was 0.069.
0.69. I'll look at the other one, right? Sorry.
Yeah. But you looked at this one, which was close.
Yeah,
I think that the benefit of this one is like after this, like if you're not hit, you have this anchor slotted. That's probably a good anchor to have.
right.
And then when you go all the way here, um, you don't get return shots. You don't get good return shots. So like if you do this and he rolls like a 6-3 hitting loose, now you have direct return shots. But
Right.
if you play here and he rolls like a 2-1 or something that leaves the shot here, there are much fewer return shots. And it's hard, you can't anchor. It's harder to anchor if this checker were on the bar, right? You would
Right.
need like a 5-4, 4-3, 3-2, something like that. But here, if you're missed, you can anchor pretty well. Okay, so I guess that's the idea there. And then the next one, yep, this one I couldn't convince you. It
So this one, it wants to play safe.
Yeah, it does want to play safe, and the race is close, so you're up by 4. Um, there's not really a need to leave a blot, especially if you're gonna leave another blot here. So now, like, say you get hit, and now you want to hit back, you still have to worry about this blot to hit. So sometimes a safe play is indicated. Were you at Dirk Schieman's seminar on ugly plays?
I watched it from home a little bit.
Oh, good. Yeah, yeah, because it's on YouTube. He talked about like creating stacks and things like that. So like when to make the ugly play.
Great.
So some of it has to do with alternatives. Um, I think, yeah, that's what I was asking you, whether this is an asset or a liability. Here it becomes a little bit more of a liability than an asset. Yeah.
Yeah, basically any 5 will hit.
Like 5-5-2 is really good. There aren't a lot of fives that are duplicated other than 5-3 and of course double five. Um, but like 5-2 is good, 5-4 is good, even 5-1 hits. Yeah. Okay. Then the 4-2 was straightforward, and then this was good. And the 4-2 you had to play safe. And this turns out to be a very comfortable take, actually, even despite the score.
Yeah, I guess the human player is the good take.
So here are a couple of things that I like to teach the viewers on how to use XG. So you can go to the dice distribution by hitting Control Alt D, or you can go to Options and then excuse me, it's under Options. No, it's under Analyze. Excuse me, Analyze Dice Distribution, or you could press Control Alt D. So when you do this, you get this window here. And what I'll do is I'm going to click on after double take because that's what you want to do. And then there are these different icons that show the different ply analysis. So the default is first roll 2 ply, second roll 1 ply. And I always click on this one, the one with the highest analysis. And then sometimes it takes a moment, but it'll give you the highest analysis. Now, when you have this, there are 4 tabs: details, graph, distribution, and dice map. And then under details, there are multiple radio buttons. This is not too useful for this purpose, but graph is very useful. So you can look at first roll, first and second rolls, and second roll. And then here, what you do is you go here. I like to double click it to make it a 2D graph. It's just a little easier to see. So this shows all of the good rolls for the opponent. So like, let me move it to the side maybe a little bit here so people can see it. Here, double six is huge. Let me see. So if it's greater than 1, it's a market loss. So double six and 5-1 and 6-1 and double five. So those are huge because they can make this point or hit or something like that.
Right.
You can also see your second rolls. So these show your bad rolls next. So because you have a lot of bad rolls, and then you can see the full thing, which is first and second rolls. This is a little bit more complicated, but you see this is the one. These are all the market losers from here to here. So there are 21.6% market losers. But I think for this purpose, this is really good because what it does is it shows you, how to think about things. What are the good rolls and what are the bad rolls? So you can see this. The other thing that I think is good um, is to modify the position on XG. So what I do is I have 2 windows of XG open. So this is the primary one that we played on. And then this is the second one. Are you able to see this second one now?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the opening position. So you go to the original one and you hit Control Shift C for copy, and then you hit Control V for paste. It'll ask you if you want to save it. You hit no. Okay, so now you have it here. And now you can modify the position. So you can take a checker here and put it, let's say, over here. So let's say this were the position and you were doubled. Now, do you think it would be a take or a pass, or do you think it would be stronger?
I would definitely pass on this one. I mean, I passed on the other one. The thing is that checker on 2 is gonna have a very hard time getting out. Now it can only get out with a roll of a 3 and maybe another 3, 4, 3,
Right.
5. That's about it. So that is gonna be
So this
near.
becomes, yeah, very close to a pass, you see? So this would not really be an error at all.
Yeah.
But this one, the original position, it was actually a very comfortable take. So what I tell people is they kind of have to do experiments. They tell me like, how am I going to learn from XG? Because XG doesn't speak to me. The way you do it is by doing experiments. So you take the position and you paste it onto another board and you make a change. You modify the position that you suspect will make a big difference. And then once you see how big a difference it is, you understand that this was key. So what if this were here now? That's still very strong because now there's another. So now it becomes a pass. What
Which is
if you
interesting.
put it over here?
Taking that one than when the other checker is on 13 because
Right.
with 13-7, they're just 17 sixes. So,
Yeah,
but goes to 13-6, then it's harder to build on that 7 and blocking me in.
but there's another attacker that can hit with like fours, fives, and sixes. So another thing I do is like go here and then maybe modify the position like this. Let's say you don't have this liability. What does that do? So that's going to make your position stronger. And now it's not a double.
Double, yeah.
Yeah. So part of it is, so when you do this, you go back to the original position, you say, okay, so now this is primarily a double because you have this blot here. So if there were a hitting exchange, this is something you'd have to worry about. But since this is open, you still have some chances. And let's say you go back to the original position, like this, and then move this here. So now these back checkers are escaped. So now what do you think would happen?
Well, now I'm behind 19 pips.
Yes.
Well, that's another factor. It's going to be a lot harder to catch up.
Yeah.
So,
But now
this,
this is a pass, right?
yeah,
Okay, so we gave 7 pips, right? So let's try doing this. Now it's a closer race, right?
race, yeah. So this may be a take. If the other ones take this, our position has improved.
Yeah. So you see this now it's a stronger double, but it's still a take.
Yeah,
And then the other thing that I like to do, and this teaches you a lot about match play. So we go back and look at these numbers. So you see white is winning 64% of the time with 24% gammons, right?
right.
So one thing I think about is the value of a gammon. So there's something you can calculate called the gammon value. So let me show people this that they could do it. You can go to analyze and then cube information, Control Alt K. Okay, and then you can go to gammon value here. So this is the score. It's 5 away, 5 away. So the gammon value is 0.457. So for money, it's zero point 0.5. But however, if the cube is on 2, now the gammon value is elevated to 0.655. So what's the reason for that? Is like that's what we were talking about. If white wins a gammon on a 2 cube, white gets to the Crawford score, right?
Yeah.
So that's
So
valuable. But with a gammon on a center cube,
far
only
away
gets
with
you, yeah,
80%.
yeah, it's much more valuable. And here's another thing you could do. You can go to the table, which is Control Alt T, or analyze load match equity table here. Okay. And I will try to enlarge this a little bit. But here you see the match equity. You're familiar with this table, Bob?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So you see at 5 away, 5 away, it's here, it's 50%, right? So
right.
if you win a gammon on a center cube, you get from 50% to 64.79. Let's say 65%. That's a gain of 15% match equity, right?
Yep,
Okay. But if you get from 3 away to 1 away, that extra 2 points on a double gammon gets you from 65 to 84%. So that's an additional 19% match winning chances. So what it means is the second 2 points gain you more in terms of match winning chances than the first 2 points. So that's why the gammon is more valuable on a 2 cube.
right,
If you want to look at it on a center cube, winning a single game gets you from 50 to 57.73, let's say 58. So that's a gain of 8%. Gammon gets you from 58 to 66, let's say another 8%. So those are equally as valuable. The first point is equally as valuable as the second point. But when the cube is turned, the first 2 points, I mean, the second 2 points are more valuable than the first 2 points. So that this is like mathematically how you could do it, but I just think about it if you can get to a valuable score like 1 away Crawford, that's very strong. You want to try to do that.
yeah.
Okay, so good. And then we'll go to the second game. Okay. So then the 3-1, that was obvious. And then the second 3-1 was like that. And then the 5-1. Oh, what was it that you were looking at? The 6-1.
So consider double hit.
Yeah. So let me show people something else here because here you have different levels of analysis. And the best one you want to do is XG roller plus plus. You can do a rollout, which gives you the highest level of analysis, but that takes a long time. So what I usually do is I highlight the top plays that I want to look at and then hit the plus plus analysis. So that'll basically give you a deeper analysis. The numbers don't change too much, but here it turns out to be much weaker to do this. And as a matter of fact, if you select this play and then hit control and select the second play, then you can do the dice distribution by right clicking, going to dice distribution. And this one shows two windows here. And again, I'll do this and I'll double click the area to make it a 2D graph. There we go. So this will show you the two side by side. You see there are a lot more good rolls for you than bad. But if you look at dice map over here, this one shows you. So you see how like all the ones are really bad here
Right.
after you hit. So that's the key there. So going back here is like look at the final, right? So here with any one, it sets you back a lot, right?
25 pips.
Yeah. And it'll be a third checker back to compare to two checkers back. But here there are only like four of those numbers, right?
Right.
That we discussed. Yeah. So that's a good tool for learning in XG. Okay. Okay, so these two turned out to be really close. You see,
Yeah, and each one has its own advantage. Basically, one is the silver points, and the other one is basically having a continuous for
yeah.
prime.
This one that it like that. Look at all this green. All the fives and sixes are really blocked here. So that turns out to be good for you. But here, the 6-5, the one that I mentioned was a big one.
Right.
So that's 6-5. So go back here, which is actually, oh, it didn't roll that, but yeah. Okay. So then there was the 5-1. Okay, so here, yeah, here you had to hit because when you do this, you're splitting into many checkers in the zone, and now there's like a lot that can happen. But here, so one of the things I do is like look at what happens here, right? So what are the good numbers? Like let's say like double six and double four and 6-4 are really bad for you here, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's say you do this. How do those numbers play?
Even 4-1 is bad because,
Right.
white.
The 4-1 can't do that. So let's take a look at the dice distribution here. Yeah, so you see like double six is really bad, double four is really bad, the 6-4 is really bad, but here they become really good.
Right.
Yeah. So that's like a tempo play. You take away half the opponent's roll. Okay. And then the 6-5, you had to do that. And then this was a double. It was a small double, but it was a take. And let's do the plus plus analysis on here. And here you see white is only winning 57% of the time. But there are a lot of those gammons, this 27.9, 28% gammons. And the thing you do is you go here and look at the gammon value on a 2 cube for the 4-way player. Now it's 0.814 because it wins the match perfectly.
I also didn't want to be, 2 away, 5 away, so I didn't want to just give up, or
It would be 3-away, 5-away.
3 away, 5 away. Yeah, but you
Yeah,
know, it's more valuable for me to take this than drop.
right, right. Okay. So then it was the double four, which was interesting. Then the 6-4 was here. Then this turns out to be a redouble. Can you believe this?
Um, well, yes, I can. It's not something that I would ever find.
So what's the reason it's a redouble?
Well, we got 11 sixes plus 5 1s, so that's 13 shots. And also at this point, chance of gammon is much higher, probably, isn't it? What
Chances
are
of
Yeah,
green winning a gammon or white winning a gammon?
white winning a gammon, which
Yeah,
means it will be over.
right. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's 4 points wins the match perfectly, but once you all these 24% gammons, now the gammon value. So again, like you can look at it, you see the gammon value is really high on a 2 cube, so it's 0.814. But once you turn it to a 4 cube, it becomes 0. But for you,
Yeah,
it's still valuable. So yeah, you're killing the opponent's gammons. This one's a hard one to find.
yeah. Well, for players at my level, not for people like you.
No, I don't think I would have found it. Anyway, it's a small, it's not a huge double. Um, okay, and then the 3-2 you couldn't move, of course. And then let's see the next one, the 5-3. Okay, like 13-10, a little bit better, but that's not a big deal. What else was there? There was like nothing else that you could do. We were just trying to save the gammon,
You lost the game, so
and and that was it.
yeah,
Okay,
I couldn't even save gammon.
yeah, but you got close.
All
Very
right.
good. So, what are your thoughts on the match overall?
Sorry, so
What are your thoughts on the match?
well, like most of my matches with XG, I lost again.
That's how it is. But
But
the idea behind playing against XG is to try to learn as much. So, and to have fun.
yeah, I mean, people who use XG, they can't learn from it as much unless they actually have someone that really is good at the game, tutor them and tell them why some moves are correct and why some moves are not. A lot of times, I mean, I can look at things and many times I can figure it out, sometimes I cannot. Like, some moves where it says play 4-3 instead of like 3-2 or whatever, or the other way around. And those things, and they're just like, maybe 0.02 difference, but someone has to like tell me why one is superior over the other.
Yeah, I think what I tell people is like if you're trying to improve, focus on the large errors that you make, not the small errors. So if it's like a 0.02 or a 0.01 or something small like that, okay, don't worry about that unless that's the only type of error that you're making. Focus on the big errors like the 0.1 or something like that. So that can be color coded differently in XG for the blunder and error settings. The other thing is knowing how to use XG, like the things that we were looking at the dice distribution. It has a lot of good tools, and in particular, I really like to modify the position. That teaches me a lot, and you can modify the score. I tell people in backgammon, except for forced plays, without exception, the correct play depends on the likelihood of what will happen next in the next roll or the next roll after that or in subsequent rolls. So that's what you want to think about. And that's why, in part, the dice distribution tool is very useful because it shows you how each of those play. And then you can go put the position on the XG board, on the second XG board, and then roll the dice and see how one roll plays and see how another roll plays and go from there. And then when you continue doing that over and over and over again, you'll kind of get the ability to do that in your head. The other thing that's useful for match play is doing the same sort of modification, but in this case, the score modification. Like you notice how it was a double, at 4 away, 5 away, for example, because of the gammons and things like that.
Right.
So
Yeah,
good.
some are passes depending on the score. So yeah, that definitely makes a difference.
Yeah. So, were you able to learn anything in this match?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Of course, I always learn something when I'm playing against you.
You weren't playing against me. You were playing against XG, but
I mean, in a way, you're helping me. So, yeah, I'm playing against XG, but with your assistance, I'm also learning.
well, that's the fun thing about like playing like consulting. Did you get a chance to play the doubles event at the tournament?
No, no, we
But you
didn't.
weren't there on that day because that was an early day. That's actually like a really valuable lesson. A lot of the people played with like the top players, and it's just like a lesson just talking to them.
Yeah, maybe next year.
Next year. Yeah, yeah. But it was a lot of fun. I did a lot of the streaming, the commentary, and Candace had me to do the social media. I was planning on just doing the streaming and the commentary, and like a couple weeks before, she said, "Also, you're doing the social media." So I had to go around and I took like over 600 pictures, and I did a bunch of other stuff too. So it was a lot of work. The streaming itself is actually mostly a two-man job because you need someone behind the computer and someone to commentate. but it was just me, and then I had the extra social media stuff. Uh,
Next time you do it, you're gonna need two microphones. We had a lot of
that was
issues.
that was one thing that's an opportunity for improvement that people mentioned. So I'm gonna work on that. One of the things since you mentioned that we tried it last time, and then what happens was the two microphones were close, so there was some interference. So it was causing some sound issues. So we have to figure out how to fix that. The other thing is I need to work better next time on focusing the camera between matches because sometimes it can be a little off focus. I noticed that a little bit after watching it, but the feedback was overwhelmingly positive. We had a lot of top players and outstanding commentators, and this was the first time every match was transcribed and available in the description of the video. On in other streams, that you could probably get the XG file, but it wasn't directly, but you have to like contact someone or email them and then get it. But here it was I did them all so that you could do that. So people like that.
Yeah.
Very good. So maybe you can help me with the social media next time.
Well, I did a little bit with tagging people.
Yes, yes, that was helpful. Thank you. Thank you for doing that.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, very good. Do you have any final comments before we conclude the video?
No, I hope everybody enjoyed this. I mean, I know you play with a lot of like, I have a lot of grandmasters doing this, and maybe it was fun for some people to see how an average player plays.
It's fun to see how everyone plays, and it's always a learning experience. So thank you very much. We'll go ahead and conclude the video. Thank you to the viewers for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe, and you'll be notified every time I upload a new video. Let me know what you think in the comments below, what you'd like to see in future videos, and I'll work on it. And if you love backgammon, you can become a member of this channel, giving you exclusive access to the most popular videos. Again, my book, Backgammon Strategies, is available. There's a link in the description to where you can get it. And if you're interested in lessons, please contact me via email. My email address is also in the description. I look forward to seeing you in future videos. And until then, keep rolling your dice.